I bet it says we're live. Hello, and it's ArtisanTony, and um, I'm enjoying a beautiful Saturday morning with my new bag of coffee beans. And just to make sure we are live, alive on a Saturday morning. I'm working on this project and I got to get it going. I got to get the drawings done because we are getting ready to build this sucker. It is in a pretty cool part of Chattanooga. It is 703 North Market. I don't know if they've got these. Yeah, they don't have the townhomes right here that a friend of mine, a builder friend of mine's building right here in this big space. Our little building's going to go right here, and I'm really offended that we have a broken telephone pole in front of our project. I'm going to have to get that fixed. But this is an old home. This is typical of the homes in North Chattanooga right here. And of course we have these, it's North Chattanooga is one of those places where you'll have $1 million buildings right next to $200,000 buildings. And of course, if you run up through here, you'll see there's a mix of new construction, like up this street. You see, you got a brand new house. Look, you got it. This is probably in this neighborhood, it's probably 500,000, and you got these. Now I'm not bashing these houses. This guy's probably had his house paid off for 30 years, which is great. But it's just, North Chattanooga is very eclectic. You can build just about anything you want there, and that's what I love about it. I've built, let's see, 3 of my own houses there. And so we're going around the block here. I don't know why I got off on this tangent of doing this, but it's kind of funny. Oh, here's the townhomes. And I was just going to say, in some street views, this is how new this townhome development is. It's not there in this view, but if you go back here, just about 50 feet, it's there. So that's Ethan Collier's doing that, and he's doing this one right here. It's 10 townhomes. I think it's townhomes. So the difference between a townhome and a duplex, in case you don't know, is a townhome is owned, it is something that you own. A duplex is something that you rent. And I'll show you on the drawing right now. I guess I should get to that because I have lots of work to do. So if we're looking at the floor plan, and this is kind of a design I'm working on, and this video is about these corner windows, and I'm kind of cheating here because I'm drawing them close to the corner, and also the trim is symmetrical. But I'll show you in a minute why that might not be. I'm going to work out a way to fix that or do that. And it's not typical. Most people wouldn't try this too much because it takes some custom framing, and builders and developers don't want to have to go out and work on the job with their framers explaining everything. Me, I like being on the job. That's one thing when I started Artisan Construction LLC, was I said I'm going to be there when the framing's going on, because most builders just want to have windows that are easy to placement's easy, no questions asked. And so anyway, I do these drawings kind of in a schematic mode at first, and you can see it's just a shell just to get the concept down and to understand how close this needs to be to the street. This is in an urban zone. It's in a special zone where they really want you to put the buildings closer to the street, and they want you to kind of fill up the lot. They don't want you to have a little tiny house in the back corner because it screws up the streetscape, you see. And this is a this terrain comes from this placemaker extension. Oh, you know what? I just installed 2023, SketchUp 2023, and it's, anyway, I don't need to get off on that rant anyway. Anyway, it allows you to download geographical or topographical information, and it will attempt to actually put the buildings there. Of course, it's got, obviously it's got limited information from the site it has, but it's kind of cool because it gives you just an idea. Now, these townhomes from here down are going to be as tall or taller than our building. So anyway, let me get to the floor plan, and I'll show you what I was talking about for the townhome versus duplex. Now, ours is oriented this way, just on perspective. This is the street out here, and I haven't put the I haven't put this in the proper layer yet, so it's showing up on the floor plan. But basically, a duplex is, well, let's just turn on the site plan. Where's my site plan? Oops. Doobie-doobie-doo. Where's my site plan? Tags, site, property lines. Here we go. You can see these inner city lots are kind of small, and well, this one's not. Yeah, it's 50 feet. So the typical urban, lot is 50 by 150, but this one's a little bit deeper, 156. And so on a duplex, you have just one single piece of property. If this were a townhome, there would be a property line down the middle of this property. And this developer he's a friend of mine, and he's really awesome. Mitch Everhart. He allows me a lot of freedom on these projects, and that's why I love building for him. But in this case, this is a duplex, so we can build. We still have to have the same separation between the units. In other words, these two separate walls with an airspace and flame retardant. Anyway, it's a whole firewall system. But I don't want to get into that in this video. What I'm trying to do here is, I had these windows on the front like this, and I thought it would be cool to be able to see, down, if you're in the living area watching me on your TV on ArtisanTony, then you'd be able to look out the window at the same time and gaze like I do. Like I've got my window here where I can just turn and look out at God's gift of nature to us. But so in this case, it's a duplex. It's all on one piece of property, and it just has to have a fire separation, the wall between the units, but they can appear as one unit. A townhome would have a property line down the middle, and there would actually be, is there a middle? There it is. There would be a property line there, and these two would be owned by two separate people. So there you go. There's your lesson in townhomes and duplexes. But what this video is about is, I want to get this effect. And I lost my little corner drawing. Let's see if I can undo. There it is. I was going to show you how these things are normally framed. I guess I can just leave it there. Normally, and I'm going to show you this through actual 3D stuff here in a minute for studs, but on the plan view, what you would see is on a corner, you would have a 3 stud corner. We use blocks in the middle, and that's why there's a space here. These X's mean you're cutting through something. So in this case, we're cutting through at about 5 feet off the floor, the studs, so you'd have an X to show you're cutting through, and these other ones would indicate that they're shorter than a stud. Okay, so this actually, what we would do in the field is we would put a little, see if I can draw this freehand. we put a little O here on the plate, and then we put a C here, right, for corner. So this is kind of how you can do the layout on your plates, and it tells the guys who are helping you frame what to do. That means this is a jack to hold up the header, and this is a jack to hold up the other header. Now what I'm going to try to do is use Medeek wall extension to see how close I can come to getting this. Let's see if we have any comments. I'm going to try to keep closer on the comments today. Last time I neglected them. Leave a comment and I'll check for them often. Am I spelling correctly? Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Medeek, one of my favorite wall extensions, not just wall extensions, wall, truss, roof. And I've got some walls that I've built before in here, and I've saved them, so I'm going to load 2x4 8-foot exterior wall. On the second floor of this building, it'll have 8-foot walls. On the first floor, it'll have 9-foot walls. So I'm just going to kind of pretend I'm on the second floor, even though I think this is the first floor plan. But it doesn't matter. I'm just demonstrating how I think these windows are going to work. So I'm going to load that, and I'm not really going to pay too much attention because I'm going to go back and redo all this stuff. I'm just going to, I got the wall, yeah, I got the wall layer turned off because I'm in the floor plan view. So let's turn wall on. Let's see, and let's turn wall scheme off. Okay, now that should work. There we go. So I'm just going to draw just that much wall for now because we're just talking about corners, right? And the issue here is how can we get standard windows instead of paying, I don't know if you've ever seen corner windows. We'll just take a quick look. I know I keep going down rabbit holes, but I think it's important to at least understand these windows. Now here's another guy who's kind of cheated, you know, and built something kind of cool that's not an expensive corner window, right? The expensive corner windows are where the window itself has a system of you know, at the corner like this, right? So these are really expensive. These windows that's probably $3,000 right there, right? Let's go back and see if we can find another example. Here's someone who's kind of cheated. You can see the thinner the line, okay, the thinner the line at the corner, the more rigging you have to do. So this is one thing about the internet. You click on a picture and it's nowhere near, it's nowhere around. Dang internet. We need to fix the internet. So the thinner that line at the corner, the more trouble you have to go through. Am I on images? What is wrong with this? What is wrong with the world? Corner window. You see, here's a good example. If I click on it, will it go away? No, good. Okay. This corner window right here is literally just where the glass butts each other. Okay? And what it is all the magic is in the up here in the upper area, the framing. Now they're not going to show it, are they? Let's see if I can get this one in there. Here we go. So you see here, that means that a lot of the structural stuff up here is like cantilevered, or it's, you know, there's no other floor up here, but you know that the glass is not structural, right? All the structural systems are, and that also makes it expensive. It's not just the window, it's the structural system. So what I'm trying to do is get around all that, and we're going to come up with a nifty way. We don't need all this. It's probably bogging our drawing down. we're going to come up with a nifty way, and I'm going to do it using Medeek extension because I just want to draw this quickly for this video. And let's see, now we're going to put a window in, and let's see, this is my window. I've got a window I like, 2846, load, and see right here, it doesn't want to go. It's using logic. Now, you know, normally if you were doing this, that would make sense, right? I'd put it as close as I could. Now what's funny is it's letting me put it closer over here, and that's because of the way the corners are framed. And that's the way, depending on which way, depending on which way he's got his corners framed, whether this is the lead wall or that is the lead wall. The lead wall is the one that's built first. And in construction, in residential construction or any other construction pretty much, the longest wall is built first. Okay? And we're going to turn off the siding right now just to it's wall cladding and wall sheeting, just because it's going to be easier to see. We want to turn off that too. Yeah, it's going to be a lot easier. So normally, you know, what you do is you build these long walls first, laying on the floor. Okay, and you build the longest wall first. Okay, the reason you do that is because you go from the longest to the shortest walls, and that becomes very obvious to you when you're building. If you built the short walls first, that would be in the way of building the long walls. So you build all the perimeter walls first, and you build both long walls first, right? Typically what we would do is build this long wall, leave it laying on the floor, build this long wall, leave it laying on the floor, and then we'd raise them at the same time. And then we'd come back in and build the shorter walls and raise them up, and you progressively go. Well, see here, actually on a duplex, this middle wall will be built first. These middle two walls will be built first. You build one side, and you do all your drywall, your Type X drywall work, and there's new systems now that you can use. I'm going to redraw this to show the new systems where it's just one, I think it's Gypsum USG has a product. It's just like one thickness in the middle, and then you build a typical wall on either side of it. But all that would be done first, and then these two long walls, and then the shorter. Anyway, you progressively get to the shorter walls, and they're not in the way. And the reason that's important is because I think that what's happened is, yeah, when going around this corner, the reason when I went around this corner, I had drew it this way, and so it built the leading corner on this side of the wall. I want to turn off the trim for a second too, because really what I'm trying to do is show the framing. And I knew what was going to happen was at some point I would have to explode these walls, but I wanted to get it to this point because obviously it's a lot quicker using Medeek's extension just to demonstrate what I want to do. And then later this afternoon I'll start drawing this entire thing. I thought about one time doing a marathon where I framed a whole house in one live stream. It would be kind of like Kurt Jamungo's Tonanza, but anyway. So what I'm thinking about doing is exploding this now because I can see some conflicts already, and I'm going to show you how I want to do this. And I got two different ways of doing it. I think what I'm going to do is replace the corner with a let's see, yeah, see it's showing this wall as that's proper though, because the three studs should be facing this way. The only thing is it let me put that window in there. Let me move that over. Let's see how much it has to be moved over. 1.5 inches. Yeah. So this is another cool thing about Medeek's extension is that you can move openings. And what you do is you select it, and then 1.5. Yeah. Would that be proper? Yeah, this is what I'm going to try to cheat right here. I'm going to try to get that there. And I want to move this one over 1.5 inches too. Let's see. Yeah. I want to try to move this one. Move wall. Edit, move opening. This one may be minus 1.5. Nope. It would be 1.5. See, it doesn't like it. That's what it is. So since this is the leading wall and the corner is facing this way, it doesn't like me putting the jack for the header against the corner, and that's what I want to do. I want to put the jack against the corner, and that'll get me 1.5 inches closer. So I think it's time, sadly, it might be time to explode. And I got an extra stud in here. See if we have any comments so far. No comments. Everybody's watching cartoons on Saturday morning. What time is it? 10:11. You should already be. Cartoon time is over, people. So I don't know. I don't like exploding my Medeek walls, but I'm going to go ahead. Thank you, Nathan, for all your work on these. You saved me about 2 hours of preparation time. So now let's see if we're okay. That needs to be. Well, let's see if I can. What I want to do. I know there's an extra stud in here because that. Oh, that's the window. I'm gonna explode the windows too. There's this stud right here, right there. I want to delete. You see, the corner. We're very efficient with corners. We take the blocks that are cut off of. This is why California corners are dumb. I'm sorry, they just are. We take the blocks. You see, when you make a jack, this is the jack right here that holds up the header. That block is 10 7/8, 10 3/4. Okay? We take those blocks. We cut all of our jacks first for doors and windows. So we got a bunch of blocks, like probably 50 of them left over. And we use those blocks to make corners and T's and stuff. See? So there's no waste. There's not that much waste in construction. Okay? Now, in this case, I think what I'm going to do, it just occurred to me, I think to keep the building inspector happy, what I'm going to do is I am going to make this solid. I'm going to make a 2-stud corner here. Oops, missed. Wasn't paying attention. Okay, now I can put my jack against. Okay, there's a stud right here that needs to go. Where is that? That line right there needs to go. What is that? I want to move this out of the way for a second. I'm gonna go over 3 inches. This. Oh, that was a cripple above the. That's what that was. So there. This is what I'm going to try to convince the bit. I don't think I have a problem with this because this is still all solid wood, right? You got a 3-stud corner up to here, right? And then the header fills in that wood. So there's no structural issues. That load is taken care of all the way down. The only other thing to do would be to get a 4x4 and put it in the corner, which would be 3.5 both ways. I might look at that. So then what I want to do here is the same thing. I want to get rid of this corner, and there's 2 in there because of the wall and the window system, and I want to move all this over. Am I picking everything? I feel like I don't have everything, but I'm going to find out right here. What did I miss? Oh, the window. Yeah, I knew there's something. It just felt wrong. Let's see. I just want to go that way, 1.5. Yep. And if we turn the windows off, it might be a little easier to see. Yeah, that's a good idea. There we go. So now this is not going to be, this is not going to be perfectly symmetrical, okay? Because you're going to be about a 1/2 inch different one way or the other. So that's 4.5, and that's 5. Yeah. So it's only going to be a 1/2 inch off out of symmetry. Right. And this is why, honestly, this is why I wanted to do, well, what I might do is change the leading corner. Because I'd rather this, I don't know, the side view is going to be, yeah, yeah. So if this was 3.5, that would push that way a 1/2 inch. So it would be symmetrical with this. I don't think I'm going to worry about that because that's just another level of complexity to add to the project. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the windows back on, and I'm going to turn the sheeting. Well, let's turn the sheeting back on first, and we'll fix that. Yeah, so I really don't like this ugly OSB look. I know we use it, but still, it's ugly. Let's see if I can get out of this. Get this over to here. Oh, come on. There we go. Why giving me a hard time? There we go. And this one should be right because it was, yeah, it was placed. Medeek put it where I wanted it, or I guess I moved it. That's that. You see, so it's not going to be that. It's going to be a little noticeable, but not a lot. So then we'll put the window back in, put the window back on, and then we'll turn our siding on. Now the siding is going to be different anyway. A little, yeah. I'll show you in a second. Let's see. How can I? This will be over here. Let's see. Where's the trim? You know, trim should be against the. Okay. The window trim should be. Okay. Let's move it over 1.5 inches. Like that. I don't know. They've got the wall extension has the siding not exactly perfect, but I'm not going to worry about that right now because it's a minor thing. The siding's going to go where it's going to go. What I wanted to bring now was this issue of the corners. So if we go back to my, let's save this view as work or working view. I have these views. I have this set up so I can just at any time update it what I'm working on, but then I can go to my front elevation. And you see, it's not going to be too far off from what I have, but if I turn off that, you can see here if I look at this corner, it it looks nice, nice and symmetrical at the corner. Or did I draw it symmetrical or not? 5 and 5. Yeah, I drew it symmetrical, but we're going to check that dimension. Now let's go back to our work view here, and we're going to see what it actually, because this is all actual size. So what I'm going to do is turn off, let's see, I'm going to move this out of the way for a second. And that siding should be cut back, but again, I'm not going to worry about it. I thought the Medeek extension cut the siding around the trim. It must just run it to the opening, because I guess it doesn't matter because the trim is thicker and it doesn't show. But now we got to deal with this trim, and I'm going to grab this and I'm going to grab it like this, and I'm going to pull it out to where it meets the other one like that, and then I'm going to grab. Now I have actually thought of a way to make this actually less bulky at the corner. Wait a minute, I didn't really mean to do that. I didn't really mean to do that. I messed that up. I realized I messed that up just looking at the other one. I was only supposed to grab the end. I think I'm perfect, but I'm not. I should say I like to think I'm perfect. Let's see. Is that just the end? Yeah. Is it? No, because I grabbed that little short piece. So I gotta get like this view so I don't grab. Yeah, like that. Then go back. Now, this is, what's awesome about this is that the Medeek extension saved me all kinds of time, because I would have literally had to, let's see, 0.75. I can't see the back of that corner, so I'm having to give it the, let's see, is this one? Yeah. Having to move that back. Because what we would do is we would miter these corners like that. Now that's a little bit, it's a little bit wide of a corner, but I think, when you're standing back at distance, it's really, as far as conventional methods go, let's see, if I go back to my front elevation, oh, see, I don't have, let me turn this wall cladding off. And wall sheeting. And wall framing. I don't have corners. There's going to be corners here, but they'll be really low profile corners. And really what I'm trying to demonstrate here is the siding is really not the feature here. And so really this would go away for now. That's not going to be too bad. Now here's the thing, these windows probably cost about $400 a piece, right? So you got $800 in a corner window versus $3,000 or $5,000. I literally priced a corner window, and it was from just a moderate. It was like $3,500. And if you go to a commercial grade corner window, an architectural grade, you're going to pay $5,000. And it's just because, and what I was going to have to do, or one thing I thought I was going to do, is I was going to run these headers back and cantilever them out. I was going to run these two windows together to the very corner, and then cantilever these headers back, or run them back so they would be cantilevered. But I was afraid the building inspector would raise an eyebrow. So what I'm trying to do is stay within conventional methods. What happened to this header? Oh, that part. I knew I didn't get everything. I knew it. I knew something was wrong. There we go. Is that right? .5. There we go. That's good enough for now. So this will give you a little bit of a corner here. What I might do is, what I'm gonna do is probably address this corner. See, this is one reason why you don't want this to be this way, because you're gonna have these two little corners. I'll have to investigate and see how it would look if we address that corner, because it might look kind of weird to have that little half-inch inset there. It would look better if it came out like this. Where's my pen? Where's my line thing? But then you got to ask yourself, how do you address the for the window itself? It would look better like this. Then if you're just looking at it, the drywall would come out and there would be a corner there. So you have to ask yourself, we could probably take care of it with a seal. Yeah, we would let the seal come out. We would have this up an inch. And then what you would do is have a seal here. What do I do? Is that not a rectangle? That's weird. What the heck? Oh. That's funny. See, it's funny when you're drawing in 3D, sometimes you get a little freaked out because you think you're on the same plane. You think you're on a plane, and then you don't turn out not to be. So that would come to there, and then this would come here and go by an inch. Of course, I'm not, I don't have the drywall on, but let's just say it goes by a half inch, or another inch, another half inch, and then you have the same thing over here. So what that would do is create a and this is actually correct. You would shim. You never want to set your windows on the bottom on the framing. You want to put a shim on both sides. Okay, that gives you space to insulate. Plus, if this framing is a little lumpy, it keeps your window from, being on a lumpy sill. And because you don't want any loads from. Should be a space on the sides too. Is there a space? Yeah, I just got it off center. But you want to be able to run the foam around, or caulk. I like to foam them with the window foam because it's not expandable. Well, it's not as expandable as the foam you put in the wall. And this comes out to there. We give it a little return on the end, like that. That's one way. And then you say, well, what about up here, ArtisanTony? What do you do up here? Good question. Maybe what we do is we do this up here. I don't know. We'll just have to get creative. I'm not going to give up my dream of having this of having what I want. Okay. Can I get rid of all this stuff? This is what I get for not. I'm going to have to delete a line when I get up here. This might be a little funky. I don't know. We'll have to get creative. We're not scared though. We're not scared of getting a little creative. I'm trying to find my axis. There we go. We're going to lock it, and then I'm going to put it right. Let's see. That should be right. Let's see. Would it be there? Yeah. There we go. Then I just delete this stuff. It's probably a little booger up there, yeah. So you could do something like that on the inside to give you a nice clean corner and a little corner effect with the trim. I think that would be kind of cool. I'm digging it. And see, now when you're sitting in here, you can look out the front to the street, or you can look down at Collier's pretty townhomes down that way, which ours are going to be prettier because I'm more creative than he is. But that's just, I was just born that way. I can't help it. So the other thing is, let's see, what layer are these things on? I forgot to turn off the. These are pretty cool though. These are wall callouts. Oh, that's the window callout. So you can turn those off. I have to delete it now because I exploded it. All right, and then you got callouts for the wall themselves. And what this is related to is if you wanted to do a materials list in the Medeek extension, you can go to engineering. What is it? I don't use it. I do my own. I have my own method for estimating. But if you go to engineering, there's a you got to select the wall. Okay, so what you do is you select the walls, which I exploded them, and then you go to engineering, and it'll show a list. I'll show you right quick. Since I brought it up, I gotta show it now, don't I? We'll just do this wall, just wherever, and then we'll hit the space bar, and then we'll select it. I think this is how you do it. I don't use the. Wall, garage door, global settings, walk tools, stretchy. Somebody help me find it. Global settings. I installed the new version, so I may have it turned off. Materials, sheeting, walls, doors, windows, guard, trim, insulation, hold downs, license. I'm not showing you my license because you'll steal it. And yeah, well, what you can do is in the I thought when you clicked on engineering, select component. Truss, okay. Or what is that? Now I'm all curious. Now I've got myself curious. Let's see, engineering. Well, shoot. I didn't open a can of worms, did I? Dang it. I always do this. Let's see if I have any comments. Maybe that'll break up the monotony. Hey, Russell. You are my cartoons. Well, thanks a lot. 4x4 LVL would keep the inspector happy. Yeah, I'm just trying to keep the cost down too, see, right? Because 4x4 LVL is something I have to go buy. But that's the thing. We would still have this little inside corner. No, we wouldn't, would we? You know what, Russell? You might just have a good idea there. What I was going to do is just buy a 4x4 let's turn all this junk off. Clad, sheeting, windows, wall window, trim. Let's go back. So let's just delete. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna copy all this just for the fun of it and put it back there. I don't like doing work and then deleting it, and so we're gonna do that. I'm gonna turn this stud into a 3.5. Is this the direction? No, so I'm gonna move all this stuff back a 1/2 inch. This time I'm gonna grab. For some reason I thought those headers were grouped, and that's why I didn't get them both last time. I think I'm going to group them this time. Yeah, I'm going to group all this stuff. Save from having to do it in the future. Let's no, let's don't move that. Alright, so let's make group. I just did it though, didn't I? Yep. Now I'm mad. Booger. I can sit here and work all day and not make one mistake, and when I do a live stream, it's like it's a disease. Make group 1/2 inch. Okay. Now I'm going to take this thing and I'm going to make a 4x4 out of it by bringing it over 2 inches. It should be 2. Yeah, so that should be 3.5. That's what a 4x4 is. And now we have ourselves a corner, whether it's, you know, engineered corner or a 4x4, we're symmetrical now. And this is one thing I mentioned earlier, Russell, when you weren't here, was maybe doing this 3.5. Now we're symmetrical, and we turn on our sheeting. And I think this side is good because we didn't move it. This side goes here. Get over there to that corner. There we go. And this goes back. .5 inch. And we can turn on our windows. And move them back. Move this one back a 1/2 inch, and then I think our siding is going to be fine because it just goes behind the trim anyway. But we do have to fix our trim, so we turn on our siding just for the fun of it, and we turn on our trim, wall trim. Got too many layers here. Then it's kind of funny though, because we're just making this side as wide as that side. Let's see, how can I get to the... That, yeah. You don't have to, let's see. Well, I shouldn't have to select that. Yeah, it would be like that. So we still have to do our little dealy thing because why is that? Oh yeah, because we still have our jacks to deal with. If we didn't have our jacks to deal with, what was this side? Was this the 6.5? 6? So that gets it symmetrical, but it doesn't make it smaller. You can't, we really aren't going to be able to get past the only way to get past the width of this trim is to have like a steel column. We could do like a 3x3. So I'm not sure. Then it gets to be where it's not worth it. You could make a small steel column in the corner. You could run the windows to it and all that, and have the windows meet. But you'd still have to figure out those windows aren't really made. That's the other issue. You have a flange around the window that is not shown on this. Medeek doesn't show the flanges, the nailing fin around the windows, and you have to have at least 1.5 inches for that. So you couldn't literally take 2 standard windows and butt them together at the corner. So you're always going to have this kind of issue. But I don't think it looks that bad. And I think if we save this as work, and we go back to our front elevation, it's really, what did I have before, just schematically, when I thought I could do this? I'm only 1 inch more than what I thought I was going to have. You know, that's not too bad. Not too bad. But I want to get this, I really want this look, because downtown Chattanooga is this way. This is all schematic mode. I don't have those windows cut in yet. But yeah, so downtown Chattanooga is that way. And if you're sitting in the living room, like on the first floor, you're going to be able to, and say I haven't changed these yet. This is the way I originally had it, just but you wouldn't be able to look down the street if you were sitting in the living room. This way, that way is Chattanooga, look down the street. It's pretty cool down that way. So anyway, I don't know what y'all think about all that, but I thought that was a pretty cool way to deal with that. It's been a while since I've had to do it. I want to do it on this project, and one thing I like about Mitch Everhart is that he allows me to do stuff like this. Let me see if there's any other comments or questions. There's not. So I want to thank everybody for watching, and if you have any questions or need any help with this kind of stuff, let me know. I'm gonna go now build all these walls out of using Medeek's wall extension, because you know, I went through a lot of different versions. I've been through like 5 different versions of the building, and it's easier when you're just doing schematic stuff to show it just with regular tools, you know, SketchUp tools. And then when I get it nailed down, after the schematic mode is complete, and I go into construction documents, I use the Medeek extension to then come and do the rest of it. So thanks a lot, and we will see you on the next one.